Hello, Internet friends. Welcome back once again, and thank you for joining me today. I want to talk about the concept of slowing down to improve. So, we live in a world, we live in a society, we live in this place where we get caught up in everything. We get caught up in the rush of everything. We get caught up in the rush of other people. We get caught up in the rush of other people's progress, and we try to rush things. It goes from that huge macro outlook to what does your entire life look like? Am I keeping up with everyone who's going and doing their things around me? And it comes down all the way into your own lifting, if this is what you're doing, where people try to rush through things, and there's such an emphasis on creating so much speed and just going faster, whether it be in your progress, whether it be in the performance of a lift. And I've had some people talk to me recently saying that my lifts have been looking a lot more controlled, that I have been looking a lot more consistent, that the progression itself is looking more solid. And a lot of that has to do with this idea that it's okay to take a breath, to stop for a second, and to slow down, and to really focus and put intention behind the things that you're doing. One of the biggest cues that I give my own athletes is never sacrifice position for momentum. It happens at the bottom of a squat, it happens at the start of a deadlift, it happens at the bottom of a bench press, where many times you will have someone try and rush the bar speed or rush whatever it is to try and get a little bit more momentum going. But what they do is they get to that point. It happens where it happens at the bottom of a squat is if you descend more quickly than you're able to control the bar, sometimes your hips squirt back and your knees will collapse in and you'll get caught forward and doing this little good morning kind of motion. Or on a deadlift, if you yank the bar, you might get it moving off the ground a little bit faster, but your hips are going to be out of position, and so your legs may straighten too soon, and then you end up trying to do a thoracic extension where you're unrolling your spine. Or on a bench press, if you bring the bar down so fast you lose control, you don't have any control of it at the bottom, you can't start putting the maximum amount of force on that because your elbow you might misgroove, you might touch at a weird spot on your chest, your elbows might tuck in or flare out too much in one direction, you might be uneven. And it carries through to all sorts of things, but it's the idea that you are making sure that you're moving at the speed you can perform the best at. That may not be as fast as someone else. When someone says, Ben, how if I want to bounce out of the bottom and get some of that rebound on my squat, there is some validity to that. There is the potential that if you can control your hip positioning in a squat enough that you can hit the bottom fast enough and get some momentum and use a little bit of spring out of that motion, that it can be beneficial. But if you get to the bottom and you're trying to pursue that extra momentum, you're trying to get that little bit of extra that comes from doing something quickly, it might pop your hips back. And then if that momentum, if you can't repeat that the same way every single time, it's going to end up challenging you more. So on the squats that you watch there, I actually slowed down my cadence a little bit. I slowed down my tempo. I was focusing, instead of dropping down into the squat, trying to pull myself down into this position and build up all this tension that I could then release and try to hold myself accountable for the positions that I was in. It's the same way with my overall training plan right now. I have Eric and Hanny on point when it comes to, I've been asking them every week, can we do this, can we do that? And I'm expecting them. I will ask questions sometimes that I know that they're going to say, trust the process, slow down, breathe, we've got time, focus on that bigger goal. And that's intentional. That's something that I absolutely believe in. I'm still going to ask because it's in my human nature to want to go fast and want to try and speed up that progression. But that's also why it's important to have someone objective to be able to tug the reins a little bit and say, hey, you're doing all right, things are moving fine, and it's going to be okay. Focus on the full scope of what it is you're trying to do, and not just the right now, not just the what's going to be easier in this moment, but what's going to build a better base, what's going to build a better motor pattern, what's going to build a more successful training block. It's not always about this is going to sound counterintuitive, but it's not always about what's going to be optimal in the broadest sense of the word. You might say, well, it's optimal for me to get the bar moving quickly at the start of a deadlift, where I would say maybe it might feel optimal for the first 2 inches, but for the grand scheme of that pull, for the overall scope of what you're trying to do, I personally feel like it will be a better approach to get the bar moving and then try to accelerate once you're in an ideal position and have kind of put in your time and earned that start. And so I guess this is getting a little liftception a little bit with how we're trying to relate in the movement itself to in the context of a workout or in the context of an entire training block, but it really does come down to this concept of being patient throughout. Not necessarily trying to take, I wouldn't call them the cheap ways, but some ways that are a little bit less sustainable. If you are relying so heavily on the bounce out of the bottom of a squat, you better hope that you get the same amount of bounce every single time, because the one time that you don't, or the one time it kind of throws you off, you're putting yourself at that higher risk of misgrooving, you're putting yourself at that higher risk of not being able to be consistent in what you're doing, and it's more difficult to ensure your progress. Same thing if you're bouncing your bench press reps and you're not pausing at the bottom, or you're sinking and heaving really hard like I used to do. My bench press is getting so much more consistent, so much more powerful, and I can tell exactly how many reps I'm going to be able to get in a set and how comfortable I feel because I'm controlling it more and I'm not allowing myself to sacrifice my ideal positions just to get a little bit momentum on the bar and make it easier in that first couple of inches. If you can commit and be more disciplined to your approach and be more dedicated to the way that you're going about doing things, you will see greater progression over time. You will see more improvement. You will see more growth. You will see general good things happening because that patience is being rewarded. And there are going to be times in your life where you may have an opportunity that you need to jump on right now, or it's going to go away, but rarely are those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities the only opportunities that you will have. If it doesn't work out right now, maybe there's something further down the road that's going to be better. And call me naive, call me non-realistic or overly optimistic, but I definitely believe that the things that we're going through are happening for a reason, and your approach to them should be one that puts you in a good position to move forward, and then you take advantage of those opportunities in a controlled, smart, intentional way, and living your life with discipline, you will find more success overall. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening and joining me here. I hope that you're having a great day wherever you are. If you're seeing this sometime near the Thanksgiving time, I hope you're all having a fantastic holiday season, and make sure that you take some time every day to appreciate the people that are close to you in your life and be thankful for them and let them know that you appreciate them being there. Very few of us are doing this all by ourselves. There's usually someone else in your life that is giving you strength and giving you the will to keep moving forward. So tell them that you appreciate them today. And I hope you're all doing well. I appreciate all of you, and I will talk to you very soon. Have a great day. Bye.